Hi, welcome back. Glad to have you. Whether you're visiting through our regional website, you're visiting us through our Facebook page, or you're watching us directly on YouTube, we're very glad to have you back. Last time I was with you, I said I would talk about manners. So let's look what Paul says to the church at Philippi, beginning in chapter 2 in the book of Philippians. Verse 3 begins this way. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind let each esteem other better than themselves. Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. Let this mind be in you which was also in Christ Jesus, who, being in the form of God, thought it not robbery to be equal with God, but made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a certain servant, and was made in the likeness of men. And being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself, and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. You see, I think what is at the heart of manners and being courteous, having good manners and being courteous, I should say, the heart of it and the mind of it is right here in what Christ demonstrated. We are all born with an innate sense of watching out for our own things. Self-interest comes naturally. And the Bible isn't calling us to be doormats in this world to anyone. But what the Bible is calling us to is to look out for others' interests as much as our own. I think that having good manners and being courteous is one of the best places to live this very passage out. By now you've probably heard the story that's gone around the internet the last couple of weeks about the preacher who wrote the little note on the receipt asking the waitress, why should I give you 18% gratuity when I only have to tithe 10% to God? Well, what does that matter? And what kind of message does that send to someone in a restaurant? Does a message like that feed her toddler? I doubt it. But it certainly says that she's not important. It says she's not important enough to this preacher to be blessed with a generous gratuity. You see, manners and having good manners and being courteous is a way of preferring another person, how to honor them and add value to their life. Certainly, that's the essence of this call here in Philippians chapter 2. You know, some people think that manners and having manners or being courteous is just a way of trying to act important. No, what it is it's a way of telling others they are important. If you have young children, I want to encourage you, start working on their manners now. It's much easier to instill in them good courtesy and good manners and respect for adults and those around them when they are young. If you start and you're intentional with them from a young age, it's much easier than trying to make up that ground later. I'm not talking about violating children's boundaries like they should feel obligated to speak to every stranger or every adult that comes to them. But especially for the adults that are mutually in your world and their world, when being spoken to, they should acknowledge that individual who's speaking to them. They should answer that individual, and they should answer them courteously. It's very simple. In fact, for those of you who are pastors and credentialed ministers, I want to say this to you. We're all given a ministry ledger. And our ministry ledgers are filled with asset sides and with liability sides. I want to encourage you, be as respectful and as courteous and demonstrate as many manners as you possibly can, whether you're dining or whether you're a shopper, whether you're in your home, just even in your home. To make sure to say please and thank you, those kind of things. I mean, right down to the basics. You see, what we do when we don't think it's important is really what comes out later at times that we would normally consider very important. I'm an old basketball player, and I always was taught this: you will play like you practice, and in fact, you'll never play better than how you practice. Well, whether that's right or wrong about basketball, I mean, sometimes guys do things that are so far above their abilities, it's amazing. But by and large, I agree with that. The level and quality of play never exceeds how I was to approach the game in practice. And so really our homes, right there in our neighborhoods, they're all everyday practice for something out there that we consider to be out there and that we'll face all the time. I want to encourage you, always, always, husbands, be respectful of your wives. Wives, always be respectful and courteous and honoring to your husbands. Children, to your parents, and parents to your children. Manners are one of the best way that we can bring value and honor to others, and in doing so, our manners and our courtesy is a delivery system for the love and mind of Christ. Okay, we'll see you next time. And remember, say please and thank you. Glad to have you with us. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.